hate this team. And of course I meant the Colts, because I can never hate my Titans, even when they suck. But what's up, everybody? Team Fanatic here. Hope you all are having a fantastic day, and welcome to another post-game reaction. In this one, I am continuing my miserable, grueling, torturing coverage of this atrocity we call a football team known as the Tennessee Titans. And in this game, it's another big-time blowout, another wasted opportunity for us to just improve a little bit in our offense. Titans lose to the Colts. The Horseshoes, we lose 38-14. But before I get into this reaction, fans, a few announcements. So, if you have seen my channel, you saw that I posted a little short where I just gave you all like an update. I mentioned how I was having like some camera problems and just like the footage was coming out weird. But the good news is, like, if you're seeing this, then hey, we are all good. But with that being said, during that time, I filmed an episode of Gridiron Chat. And so, of course, with my camera being all, like, messed up, I was unable to get that film. But the good news is that, like, the audio was still good. So you can still check out that episode. It is on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Links are in the description. And again, like, if you're seeing this right now, like, those issues are fixed. I had to do some digging, some research. And so, yeah, hopefully, you know, as I'm filming this, and, like, if you're seeing this, then, you know what, we are all good. So, just wanted to get that out there. And all right, enough delaying it. Let's talk about this game. So this first quarter, these Titans, you know what, they did it again. They fooled me again. You know, I just thought that here's another opportunity for us to just improve a little bit, to gain some morale, to gain some happiness and joy this first quarter. You know, our opening drive, DK, he has that 21-yard catch on third down. Pollard, he had that rush for 11 yards. I was like, okay, this is something. Now, it wasn't all great, of course. You know, Cam Ward, he got sacked on third down by Latu. But it kind of seemed like we were building something here, just a little bit. Now, the Colts on their next drive. Jonathan Taylor, excuse me. I need to give him his due. Unfortunately, the league rusher coming into this game right here, and for good reason. He was getting these wide open holes provided by a great Colts offensive line. And Taylor, he has an 18-yard touchdown run to end the first quarter. And, you know, I was watching that, and as I was watching that, I turned over and I talked to my dad. I was like, if this is now, like, if Taylor, he's having these wide open holes, and if he's scoring already, like, imagine what he's going to do with our defense when they're tired and Jeffrey Simmons still on the bench. I think on those first two drives, Taylor had like 62 yards already on just those first two drives. Now, the Titans, we do have a nice response here on 3rd and 6. Spears, he has a 41-yard run of his own. Good for him. And I believe that was the longest of his entire career. So good for him. And then Ward, he finds Helm in the end zone. Touchdown Titans. Right there now, the Colts, they would respond, which is a 6-play drive. 6-play drive. They're just picking us apart. They're driving down the field. This is like playing flag football in the backyard. This is like Madden type stuff right here on rookie mode. With that being said, the Colts were having all these like great big time plays. None bigger than this one right here. So 2nd and 8 at the 42. Daniel Jones, his pass, he's going for Pittman. And Armor Baker is right there with him. This ball gets tipped up in the air. And usually in those moments, I'm like, okay, this is when the defense, in that moment us, is going to get that ball. But then Pittman, he comes down with it. How is that possible here? The ball gets tipped. How oblivious is Armor Baker on this? You don't even have to run or anything. It's literally coming down toward you. Tip the ball. Intercepted. You're right there. You don't even have to do anything. But Pittman comes down with it. And what's even worse is that then he catches a 21-yard touchdown pass. And on that pass, Armor Baker was called for PI. Which at that point, it's like, okay, whatever. Like, you cannot stop Pittman. He is that good, folks. It's just unbelievable. So fast forward to our final drive of the half. Now we're trying to go quick here and give props to Aya Manor and DK for having some nice catches. The drive stalls, and so we give Sly a 58-yard field goal. Seemed a little bit long, which I guess it was because Sly, he pushes it right. So we head to the second half. And this third quarter and a little bit of the fourth quarter, like we all saw it. Like it was like Morse code. Like punt, touchdown, turnover on downs, touchdown. The Colts were just picking us apart. Probably the biggest highlight for these Titans in the third quarter was that 3rd and 3. Where Pollard, it was a rush for no gain. He was tackled by Stewart. And so at that point, we were still kind of in the game. We weren't getting totally blown out. But our offense was stalling. And it's only 3 yards. And Cam Ward, after Mike McCoy, he sends the punt team out there. Cam Ward, you can read his lips. He is frustrated. And I'm right there with him. Cam, and I'm paraphrasing here. He turns to Mike. He goes, Mike, what the F are you doing? And again, I don't blame Cam Ward. I respect what he's doing here. Because in my humble opinion, some people, mainly quarterbacks, some of them are content with just playing for a paycheck. Kyler Murray. Other quarterbacks, when they get drafted, they come to these awful teams who are rebuilding. They want to change the culture. Now, for some teams, it takes some time. Not everyone could do what Burrow did for the Bengals. Not everyone could do what Jane Daniels did for the Commanders. Cam Ward is trying. He's trying to change the culture here. And with that being said, and I will address this again, you know what? Like, what do we have to lose? What do we have to lose by going for it on a few times on 4th down? I mean, look what Dan Campbell has done with the Lions, like all those like fake punts and going for it on like 4th down, like that's fun. That's changing the culture. I feel like a little bit that can play a big role in it because you're establishing belief in your team and your offense that you can get that. And in this case, getting 3 yards. 3 yards. Pollard is capable. He could have gotten it. And you know what? This is karma right here because right after we punt, Jonathan Taylor has an 80-yard touchdown run for the Indianapolis Colts. Unbelievable. 80 yards. So you know what? There it is. That's karma right there. Real. Now, I will acknowledge that touchdown that we got in the 4th quarter because, for my Titans, they don't come as much. It's sad. But, again, good for us, good for Spears for getting it, and also Helm for a 22-yard catch he had on that drive. But once again, at that point, Colts they sat pretty much all their starters, and that would be curtains. Colts would win. They're 7-1. What is happening? The Colts might be the best team in the AFC. Daniel Jones, at the end of the year, who knows? He could be up for he could be the MVP of the league. Jonathan Taylor could be there too. He's putting up MVP type numbers here. I mean, it's crazy. But you know what? Jones, Taylor, they're changing that culture in Indy, and it's working. And that's what we're trying to do. Cam Ward, he's trying to change this culture. And again, I feel like, look, folks, at this point, we all know it. Titans aren't going to the playoffs. It's just not going to This is not going to happen. Our head coach is fired. Brian Callahan's out. At this point, I'm like, what do we have to lose, right? So when we played the Chargers and then on, I was, you know what? Let's just do some crazy stuff. Let's have all these like crazy plays. Let's go for it on like 4th down. Let's try a fake punt. Let's try a fake field goal. Because why not? We're not getting into the end zone. Let's just try something. Let's ignite a spark. Or let's try to. At least if we try to go for it on 4th down. I would sit there proudly and say, you know what? At least we tried. So going forward, that's what I want us to try doing more. Just try to ignite a spark, especially on the offense, because our defense, even without Jeff Simmons, like they're trying everything that they can out there. We got to give our boys some rest. Let's just try something to try to not just ignite our offense, but ignite some energy and some joy and some fun into this team. You know, let's just try it, see what happens. But fans, that is going to do it for this post-game reaction. Thank you all so much for watching. If you all enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, and you can join our Fanatic Army. And a hearty salute to all of you as always, and I hope that all of you have a fantastic day. Tighten up!